Right, it's Saturday morning, time is at 7:10. I have been awake since 1:30. I'm going through a bout of insomnia again, but that's by the by, that's why I look rough. I did a stupid thing last night. We never ever, not even one time, leave our tools in the vehicles overnight or when we're at a job. Woke up this morning and realised, because it's Saturday, the container's not open until 8:30 in the morning. Brought some tools home last night and woke up this morning and that gut deep down wrenching feeling. I've left the tools in the van overnight. Something I never ever do. Luckily for me, they are still in the van. That won't be happening again. I think the reason why I forgot is simply because we never leave them in the van. Tool theft from vans is absolutely massive at this moment in time. It's rife, especially down in London as well, but literally you can go to a job, if you're in the job they'll come and strip the van on the street literally in seconds. So when we get to a job, we bring every single tool out of the van. Sometimes we even leave the vans open if we're in an area where we feel we may be targeted. So we'll leave them locked rather than them cut holes in the vans like I've seen quite a lot of on some of the Facebook groups. Anyway, I digress. Saturday, we've got the air conditioning bloke coming today. I managed to get most of the frames in yesterday. Jem put the bifolds in, I put the triple window in, and we started to assemble the sliding door as well, and the little window's already gone in anyway. Today, hopefully, we'll get the glass in this morning. It has got blinds in and it can be a pain, so I'm going to nip down to Tesco's, buy a load of window cleaner, some kitchen rolls, see if we can get these glass in today. And the aircon guy is coming this morning and hopefully we'll have a chat with him. He might not want to chat, but we'll have a chat with him, talk about his aircon. And I bought some thermometers and room humidity thermostat type things, and we're going to see the difference it makes to the room, because it's currently 17 degrees. I'd imagine today it's going to get to about 24 maybe again, and there's a lot of glass on this building and it's facing the sun generally most of the day, so the building should heat up really quickly, and hopefully this aircon will make the difference. But we'll see. Off to Tesco's, and then I'm going to meet John and Davey at work. Right, so let's have a look. We're going to have a quick walk around this job, right, as far as we've got at the moment. Then we're going to have a chat with Phil, who's doing the air conditioning unit. I'll talk about that in a minute, and so will Phil as well, and explain it. So that part there previously was just muck, and obviously this was all muck. We've followed the path around there, we've levelled off there, and we've created this little patio area with this canopy. And there are the 4x4 steel posts. They are on threaded bar as well in a concrete manhole. A concrete pit rather, but what we did, because we didn't know exactly where they were going to be, we fixed out there, I braced them, and then we dropped the rod straight down into the wet concrete and let it go off, and then there was a gap under it. We wound the nuts up tight, and then we overfilled with concrete as well, so that's nice and solid. Indian sandstone paving to match the original Indian sandstone paving as well. Like I say, paving's complete. Bifold doors, they will all open towards the fence. They've got integrated blinds as well. I can just show you one of them. Yeah, that's a lovely little feature, and if Davey just stands there, he will see that these are the new bifolds from Express, and they've got smaller sight lines, although it is increased when you've got the blinds as well. If Davey walks around there as well, we've got a triple glazed window there as well, so that's loads of lighting, and of course they have got all integrated blinds as well. And we have got the sliders here, which unfortunately I've got a little problem with the lock, which we'll have to rectify on Monday. But that'll drop across there. And of course, they have got sliders in as well. Right, Damien, come, let's have a little chat in here. So it's as big as you can go on permitted development, this. It is 7 metres long and 3 metres deep. Well, it's almost as big as you can go. And the canopy makes it another 10 metres, but that isn't included in the square footage. And this is the bar. So we were asked to create, well, the customer gave me a picture basically of this bar. It's got some kind of wood cladding on, it's got a downlighter on, and it's a right angle bar. So he wanted that basically, but I says, well, how about we put a curve in it, which will soften it as well, make it look nice. And it's going to have a granite top, so Jimmy, who's going to do the granite, he's going to route a groove under there, curve it round, and that will be a downlighter on there. This will have, I think we're going to go with oak rather than cedar slats. Simply because it won't fade like the cedar will do through all this glazing. It will soon fade away with the cedar. And there, you can't see it, but there's a little lip up there. So what I said to the customer, I said, look, you've got a downlighter there. How about we have a downlighter on the skirting as well, so that's recessed. You won't see that, it'll just create a nice light on there. What I'd like to do with that is to put a brass skirting on it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the bend on it, so we'll have to see what happens there. So let's talk about the curve. I created that stud wall, and then I created the curve there. Now we put this flexible MDF, do you want to look at it over there? We put the flexible MDF, I originally put one on and I just felt that it was really soft and that somebody might put a knee through it, so I've gone for 3 layers on there now and laminated it up. I put glue in between it and laminated it. Right, back of the bar. So Davey stands there, he's getting served. This is the back bar. This is oak veneered MDF. It's going to have an oak clipping on there as well. That'll all get stained up. And it's going to have these, it's going to have these tongue strips in there. So there'll be 2 there, 2 there. And a range of shelves will fall in there. And then if you look at this, David, this is moisture resistant MDF and it's got brown laminate coating on it. It's typically used in bar fitting, so it's going to have a big old fridge going to go in there. Again, lipping on there. This one will be shelves and that's going to all be granite, and round there that will be granite too as well. Customer's just been in and he says, what about here, back bar? So I'm going to have a look this weekend, have a look at some ideas, see if we can create some. I'm thinking maybe a smoked mirror or something like that. Possibly with some kind of lighting in or shelving. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'll come up with something for that. So that'll be that. That'll be Star Galaxy, that granite. It's a lovely bit of kit, that. And that will be oak slats, I think, definitely oak slats on there. We're going to laminate it on Monday. John's already given a couple of coats, and to complete and utter prick, the decorator says we weren't using a mist coat. Then, you know, how can you tell from a picture, mate? Do you mind after? It's not my first rodeo, I've done it quite a few times. Right, let's talk about the aircon. So this is the aircon unit, it's a Samsung unit. That is still out there, he's actually fitting it at the moment. Yeah, he's going to come in and explain it to us. I'm going to ask him questions because I know absolutely nothing about it, and he's going to explain it to us. That there is £1,300 fitted, and there's no VAT on that as well, but Phil will explain that to you as well. So that's going to provide heat and cooling as well, because if you look at all this glass, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we've got 9 pieces of glass in here. It's going to get pretty warm, and as the sun comes round, it's probably there from about 10 o'clock in the day that way, and it goes around there and it's still there at 4 o'clock, so it's going to get bloody warm in here. But this aircon unit is going to keep the temperature perfect, hopefully. Right, before Phil comes in, because he's still connecting up, and I know it started raining as well. Last month we gave away a DeWalt drill kit. This month we are giving away this laser. How do you pronounce it, David?
Hooper?
Hooper, maybe, I don't know. Right, it's a quality bit of kit, it really is. It's got Bluetooth on as well, you connect it to your phone. It's got 16 lasers. Yeah, and like I say, connect to your phone. It's got a remote control somewhere. It's rechargeable, and it also takes batteries as well in case you've got no power to charge it up as well. And as John, and it's got a finder, yeah. And as John said this morning, he says, wouldn't it be great if you had like a little bit of adjustment on it? You know, because sometimes you're quite where you want to be and you're not quite there. And they've come up with this little genius little thing. Look, stick laser on there, Davey. Like that, and then you can wind it up and down until you get to the exact point you want. That retails at £260, so we're not giving away crap here, we're giving away quality merchandise, and all you have to do to be in with a chance of winning that absolutely free of charge is to have bought a raffle ticket in this month's raffles. The current raffles that are on at the moment. So you've got a chance of winning a DeWalt kit, a Makita kit and a Milwaukee kit, and then when you've bought a ticket you will then send a screenshot to the burner phone, and we will pick randomly a winner. So that's it, 260 quid, absolutely free. And what else I'm going to do as well is, I bought this when I'd had a drink. I've no idea why, because I don't wear a baseball cap and I never have, but if you know the bloke, you'll know exactly who this fella is. Can you see that? You focus on that? Yeah, it's 40 quid, it's come all the way from America, and the first raffle that goes, I will also send the baseball cap to as well. So that's that. They're there for a reason as well. They're monitoring temperature and humidity in this room. What I wanted to do, it's not quite warm today. Is it warm next week, Lily? No, all right, so maybe we might get a warm day, maybe we won't, but we'll definitely get a cold room. So we're going to drop the temperature right down and see how low we can get it to go in this room, and we're going to put the heat on as well and see how high we can get it to go as well. Yeah, but Phil, hopefully it will be in a minute, and we'll have a look at what he's done at the back, because what we did, we put a call out on Instagram for an aircon guy basically. He was the first person that answered, and as luck would have it, he's absolutely brilliant at what he does. He's done the neatest job I've seen in a long time. That looks really smart. And no doubt it's going to do the business once he gets it up and running. This is Phil, and Phil is from
Island HVAC Systems.
Yeah, so if you want air conditioning, I think this is the guy to go to. If you want to have a look at this job he's done there, look. Look at that trunk, can you have a look at it, David? It's coming there through there. We put a flag there for him, we put the isolator switch there as well. I believe it's on a 2.5, isn't it?
Yeah.
2.5 cable. So what are you actually doing now?
So at the moment we're just finishing the commissioning process, so everything's connected up. All the pipe work, all the cabling. Once we've done that, we need to pressure test it, which we've done, just to make sure that there's no leaks. Once we've done that, we pressure test it with nitrogen, we let that nitrogen go, and then we put the vac pump on it. That pump now is connected to a set of gauges, and we pull that down to a vacuum. So industry standard is about 2 torr. Usually on these systems we go as low as we can. Once there's no moisture left in the system, these units are actually pre-charged. The Samsung units are pre-charged up to about 5 metres. We'll let the gas go, and then we just need to finish off setting it all up.
Right, so this unit's 3.5 kilowatt, is that right?
3.5 kilowatts, yeah.
And it's £1,300.
Yeah.
There's no VAT on that, is there?
No.
Is that a government thing?
Yeah, so these are all classed as heat pumps. So everyone's heard about heat pumps at the moment. They're all replacing boilers. They tend to be more air-to-water systems. These are actually air-to-air. The government recognise that because these do heating as well, and they're just as efficient. You know, if you put a kilowatt of energy in, you'll get 4 kilowatts-ish of heating output. So for a heating and cooling source, for a garden room, they're perfect all year round, personally.
Right, so you've got £1,300. It's going to give you heat and it will cool the room as well in the summer.
Yep.
There's a lot of glass in this, so I'm thinking last year we were 40 odd degrees. I don't know. Where are you from, Phil?
Nottingham.
From Nottingham. We hit 42, I think, here. We were 28 the other day, so I'm looking at the climate change. I think we're going to experience warm summers again.
Yeah.
I think this could be a bit of a no-brainer, really, if you're going down the garden room. And by the look of your equipment, this is certainly not a DIY job, is it? You've got to have a...
You can. There's the odd company out there. I mean, we're all F-gas regulated, so we should only really be buying our equipment from F-gas suppliers. But there's companies out there. There's even DIY kits. You know, years ago B&Q were doing them, but everyone I've been to, I've taken out. So.
Right, so there you go. So he's taken out the DIY crap. But I mean, if you look at that unit, if you look at the install there, like I said, we dropped a message on Instagram. Phil was the first guy to answer, and as luck would have it, it turns out he's absolutely brilliant at what he does.
You got to be quick, lads. That's all I say.
Yeah, you snooze, you lose, and he does the neatest possible job and all. What's it actually sat on there? So we've bedded you a flag down.
So these are flexi struts that we call them. So basically they're anti-vibration. So if there's any sort of movement off the compressor or whatever it might be, sometimes people are a bit concerned about noise. The only thing I would say with a garden room, if you can, is to put it onto a solid base. You get very little noise from these. Sometimes we get a lot of questions about how noisy the outdoor unit is. They're all DC inverters, so their noise levels will go up and down, but it's very rare they'll ever hit the maximum, and it's like traffic passing by. You'd never really notice. The only thing, if you've got it on a timber structure, you might get a bit of resonance. So 9 times out of 10 we always put it down on a flagstone on a garden room. A, I think it always looks a bit neater, and B, you're not going to get any issues with noise on the inside.
Right, so this garden room's 28 square metres, so you opted for a 3.5 kilowatt then. So average garden rooms, from what we know and what we tend to do and what the DIY crowd do as well, is about 15 square metres, so would you use a smaller unit?
I'd probably go for a 2.5 kilowatt.
Yeah. Does that retail at?
There's not that much difference. There's probably about 100 quid difference.
Right.
You can go for different brands. Samsung, everyone seems to like the Samsung, especially in garden rooms. So they all come with Wi-Fi control. So in a garden room, when you get up in the morning and it's freezing in winter, you can switch it on. 10 minutes, it'll be nice and warm.
Excellent.
Same for cooling as well. So it all works on the Smart Things app.
How many of these are you fitting?
Well, every day we're doing air conditioning units, but I would say garden rooms we're doing at least 1 or 2 a week maybe.
Right.
So
tell them again your company. We're going to let you carry on with this in a minute, so you can go inside then, because we don't want to keep it too long. But tell them your company name again, because I don't want to...
Island HVAC Systems. So we're based in Nottingham. We cover Yorkshire. We cover all of the Midlands really, all the way from Lincoln, Leicester, up to Leeds. Yeah, if you need anything, just give us a shout.
Right, Buildpacks. This garden room is a 7x4. It's 28 square metres, and this is one of the garden rooms in the Buildpacks. If you do not think you can build a garden room, right, then I'm telling you now you can, with the help of a Buildpack, help of YouTube, and help of the Awkward Garden Room self-build group. This is literally one of our structures. Doesn't matter what size it is, they're all built the same, practically. But when you get a build pack, right, there's 13 different sizes, including the build pack is full instructions, of course, but also you get a full materials list. And at £96, that material list will save you a lot of time and save you a lot of money. You'll get a full materials list and a full list of suppliers that we use. And currently, I am trying to negotiate a deal with Northern Building Plastics to do you a deal on the roof with a discount code where you'll get the fascias, the soffits, the rubber, all the trims and all the glues, and you'll get a discount on that as well. So that's what I'm trying to do at the moment for you. £96. Siobhan will send you across. And what will happen as well, so you'll buy a build pack, you'll pick a size. Siobhan will email you and ask you, are you sure about that size? That will be your second chance to make sure that the build pack you pick is the build pack you want. Yeah, and then she will email you the build pack across. All right, so £96. She'll crack on with that straight away as soon as you order it. And you can build a garden room. This one isn't quite finished yet, but it's not far off, to this quality. Yeah, and if you go on the building group, the Awkward Garden Room self-build group on Facebook, you will see some of the builds that people have done when they follow build packs, and they're absolutely amazing. And sometimes I look at the pictures and actually I have to jog my mind if it was actually a build we did or not, because they are of that quality. So if you think you can't do it, I'm telling you now, you can do it. Right, so we've seen them fit outside, so this is the inside. Phil, do you want to tell us a little bit about, you've got a remote control in your hand, and I believe it's Bluetooth as well, is that correct?
Yeah, so most wall-mounted kits, or most domestic residential type air conditioning units now, they all pretty much work with Wi-Fi. So in a garden room, it's cold in here, in the winter, switch it on indoors, 10 minutes or so, you're going to have 50 odd degrees blowing out of that. It'll be lovely and warm. Same for cooling, you can put it onto cooling as well.
So what's the max heat then?
So the maximum heat that you can set it to is 30. What you'll usually get, so you've got air coming in, air coming off. The air coming off, usually you're going to be sort of between 40 and 50 degrees.
Right.
This has a temperature sensor in the top of it. So as it's blowing the air out and pulling the air back, the sensor in here will measure that temperature. So for example, the Samsung ones will actually tell you the temperature in the room that it's reading. So on there, you can see I've got it set to 16.
Yeah.
It's in cooling at the moment. That will start to come down over a period of time. So if I was in heating mode, what we'd do is you'd have the room temperature, you'd have as much air, hot air coming out as possible, or as it deems as possible. Once it gets to temperature, the fan, if it's set to auto, it will slow itself down. It will continue to run so it picks up the temperature. The outdoor unit, same thing. It's on an inverter, so it'll go as fast as it needs to, rather than like a fridge, for example, where you switch it on, it runs at 100%, gets to temperature, then comes off again. These are designed to be as energy efficient as possible.
Right. And it's a nice looking unit, isn't it? It's quiet as well. I don't know if you can slightly hear it. Can you hear it a little bit? Yeah, it's quiet.
Yeah, I mean that is actually on 80% of the fan speed, so it'll go much quieter than that.
Right.
What I usually say is put the fan speed onto auto. So it's got different modes, so you can put it in cooling, heating, dehumidify. That's quite a good option for garden rooms. Auto, so if you want a room just to be set to a constant temperature, you can set it to auto, so the outdoor unit will choose whether it heats or cools. Quite useful in a room like this because it can be cold in the morning, you get a lot of solar gain, heat up again. Personally, I find it more energy efficient if you just put it in cooling or heat.
I feel that air.
Yeah, it's lovely. I don't get to enjoy the fruits of my labour very much. It's about 19 in here. So, usually on a system which is, it might take a minute or two, but it's running efficient, it'll start to come down. So that's 30. I'd expect about a 10 degree difference from the air on to the air off. Heating, you're going to get about 15 to 20.
Right.
So if the air coming on is like 5 degrees, so it's cold in here, the air that's coming off is going to be at least sort of 25, and that will just keep going up and up until it gets to its set point. So yeah, it's a good 8 degrees difference already. Yeah, that's coming down, so that's great. So in terms of operation, that's the on and off button.
Yeah.
The different modes, so you can cycle through them. So you can see you've got dry, fan only, heating, or auto.
Yeah.
So if we put it in, into heating, it will remember the temperature that you had last. All you do is point it towards the infrared sensor there, and it'll pick up the sensor. Once it's done, it'll register it, and then I think on these Samsung it goes back to the room temperature. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to try and get to 28 degrees. That's how you set the temperatures. The fast button, if you press the fast, so if you come in the morning or whenever, switch it on, press the fast button, for 20 minutes it's going to try and run as fast as it can and get as much heat in or as much heat out as possible. After that, it will go back to its default settings. You've got the louver position, so on these ones, if you want the left and right, you just need to slide those across, but to be honest, I usually just leave them as they are. It's effective enough. If they want it swinging up and down, you can use the button there, so that'll now let it swing, or if you want it in a certain fixed position. Once it's running, once it's running, so once it starts running again, that louver will go up and down. If you want it fixed in a position, just click it whatever position it's on, and then it will just stay fixed. Okay. Right. You can set timers on them if you want. Personally, you're better off doing it through the app, things like that. SmartThings is the app that they just want to connect to. There is a QR code here underneath. So if they go onto that, it's relatively simple to do. The only thing with most Wi-Fi connections on AC units is they need to be on dual band. So they only really work on 2.4.
Right.
So 5, they seem to struggle a little bit. But that's pretty much it, really.
Right. Brilliant. I think that's it then, isn't it? Is that as much
pretty
as
much,
you need to
yeah.
know?
Yeah, I mean, you can get different types of ones. You can get one with air purifiers built in. You can get one where it monitors people in the room and it adjusts the temperature. You can get all sorts. But these are sort of a mid-range premium unit. Definitely, you know, they look smart in a room like this. They look ideal. You can get different colours, different features. You can get all sorts, really.
So what I'm thinking is then you're going to spend a lot of money on a garden room. I mean, you're going to spend 15, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds at least in some expense. This is well worth the money at £1,300 without showing a doubt. And this, by the sounds of it, is certainly the guy that needs to be fitting it for you.
Yeah, if you need any quotes, just come to us, Island HVAC, and we'll get something sent across.
Right, so that's it. That's your aircon, and that is the guy that you could possibly be using if he's in your area, because he certainly is. He does a brilliant job, basically. It's tidy as hell, nice install, good walkthrough with it as well. I'd highly recommend him, let's put it that way anyway. And at £1,300 and no VAT, it's a no-brainer. So that is your garden room. It's 7x4. It should be finished now this Friday. It's on its last leg now. I've got a bit more to do on the glazing. We're going to get the laminate floor down. We're going to start to finish the bar, and hopefully the granite will arrive on Friday. And we'll get some oil on the cedar as well, because the cedar's getting fixed to this one as well. And that is it. So please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. And don't forget to enter the free competition. You would be crazy not to.